Welcome to my channel.
In a house built on bloodlines, one boy was born to be forgot. I tried to channel more magical energy, but my body simply couldn't contain it, the power threatening to erupt. It was no good. If I pushed any further, I knew I'd cause an explosion. A woman entered the room with Chief Kakentir, looking startled as her hand flew up in alarm. She rushed to me, her hand on my back, asking if I was all right, and I assured the healer I was fine, just a bit dizzy. She pulled back, looking at my face, before turning her attention to the recovering Winshin, who was still asleep in bed. I asked the healer to confirm if Birik was still unconscious, and she wondered aloud what was truly wrong with him. I gave a tight smile, aware of their concerns about my abilities and the mysterious illness that had afflicted Birik. Chief Kakentir, who had entered with the healer, held a gyurut leaf over a candle, burning it to release its healing properties. He then offered the leaf to me, a gesture of unexpected kindness from Chief Kakentir of the Heavenly Warrior clan. I took the leaf, feeling a fresh wave of magic and healing wash over me as he explained that this was a gyurut leaf. Chief Kakentir noted that it was hard to say how the leaf would affect Birik, as we were the first outsiders to receive such treatment. I thanked Chief Kakentir, still amazed that he had so readily shared his clan's secret gyurut leaf with us.
He explained that Captain Durga was cornered in gathering soldiers, but there was no report yet about the Central Army. We needed to know the size of the Central Army and their investigation team. Only then could we estimate the battle situation and plan our countermeasures. He held up the gyurut leaf, telling me we had a few days, so I should get some rest.
I heard soft footsteps as Chief Kakentir moved around the room. My eyes were still heavy with sleep, and I blinked slowly. Chief Kakentir came over and gently tucked me into the bed next to Winshin. With Winshin beside me, I drifted back to sleep, the golden light of the gyurut leaf still faintly illuminating the room. The words flashed through my mind. The illegitimate son of the border count was once emperor. Later, the moon shone brightly through the window, casting long shadows across the room. I slowly opened my eyes again, feeling the soft pillow beneath my head. I stretched, still a bit sleepy, glancing at Winshin sleeping soundly beside me. My gaze drifted to the window. The light of the new day was just beginning to peek through the curtains. I couldn't quite grasp it. The Heavenly Warriors had been so generous, even gifting us gyurut leaves, yet I couldn't shake this strange sensation of a murderous aura from outside. Suddenly, a sharp thud vibrated through the room, jarring me out of my thoughts. Before I could even react, a masked attacker lunged forward, their weapon glowing with a menacing crimson light. The sheer force of the blow sent me reeling, my head snapping back from the impact. The weapon, a small, ornate dagger, spun through the air, having missed its mark by a hair. I gasped, struggling for breath as a hand clamped tightly around my throat.
How dare you scheme? Do you know how much you and your lackeys have ruined everything? You scum from the Empire are useless, just like your father.
My eyes widened in shock as Bumart mentioned a name, Durga. A golden light exploded from me, my magic instinctively lashing out in self-defense. The force of the blast sent debris flying, creating a violent explosion that tore through the window. A servant outside, holding a lantern, cried out, asking about the noise and shouting that it had come from my room. Then I heard footsteps approaching quickly, and someone called out my name.
Sir Ian, what is all this commotion about?
I managed a cough, then spoke. I don't know either. He suddenly tried to kill me.
Take care of Ian and identify the attacker, Chief Kakentir said, his voice firm.
He moved with a sudden, decisive burst of speed. A guard was already there, holding Bumart by the throat and demanding to know what on earth caused the explosion.
Kay Kakin, this man is, the guard stammered, clearly shaken. Chief Kakintier's gaze was hard as he looked at the unconscious Bumart. Move Bumart to the prison. I will personally interrogate him tomorrow morning, he added, his voice cold.
Meanwhile, Bumart still lay on the floor, groaning, as bits of debris continued to fall around him. Chief Kakintier looked intently at Bumart, his eyes narrowed in thought. Moments later, Bumart was dragged away, his wrists bound, to face whatever interrogation Chief Kakintier had planned.
Chell, still tied to a post, asked Chief Kakintier to release him before he would answer if he'd attacked me at dawn.
Chief Kakintier simply stared at him, unmoving, his expression unreadable. Chell gritted his teeth, his frustration evident even from a distance.
He then declared that he wouldn't make excuses, but if they still considered him family, they should take his arm and ask no further questions.
Bumart, now bound, watched me with an odd intensity.
He claimed my eyes had turned golden, causing an explosion, and insisted I was a suspicious person.
I met his gaze, my own eyes betraying nothing of the truth he spoke.
I leaned forward, asking if I might offer a thought. I definitely remembered Bumart mentioning Captain Durga, the man responsible for burning down the Brack mansion.
The mention of Captain Durga stirred the crowd, a ripple of unease passing through them. I continued, laying out my deduction. It was likely Bumart had seen Captain Durga with soldiers. As Chief Kakintier considered my words, his gaze fell upon a letter, tucked neatly into a small wooden box.
Who will succeed the female clan head? He read aloud, his voice taking on a new gravity. That letter.
His expression tightened, a clear sign that this new piece of information was far more unsettling than anything that had come before. The moment lingered in silence. A new message had arrived, prompting a question about who would succeed the female chief. A frantic voice then demanded to know if a spy had sent a message to Durga. I listened, my thoughts distant, reflecting on the weight of my past and present. The question was repeated, more urgently this time, but the details remained hazy. I watched the scene unfold, a pawn in a game I understood better than they knew. Someone in the room cried out that the captive had bitten their own tongue, asking if Bumart knew the truth. The man on the throne sat rigid, hands clasped, while I considered the implications of such desperation. The captive, I heard, had been part of a scheme where Durga Brack was meant to profit. When I inquired about Winchin, I was told she was resting. The captive thrashed, their mouth bloody, still trying to speak. I gave a stern order. No one was to enter Winchin's room until I said so. The captive was dragged away, their resistance fading. Then I heard it, the soft click of a lock, and a door that seemed to open and close in the darkness. A figure, bloodied and bound, was being dragged along the floor, struggling against their captors. Two men stood over the fallen figure, one confirming an order to Chief Kakintier, while the captive lay still. They lifted the wounded man, red stains on his clothes, and carried him away, his legs dragging lifelessly on the ground. I faced Chief Kakintier, the injured man, and asked him directly if the ambush at Bumart had been his doing. He was watching me, a faint smirk playing on his lips, as if considering my words. He spoke of those who performed miracles, calling them mages, and said he had no desire to lie to me. I looked at him, knowing I could only reveal the truth of my existence when the time was truly right. He then claimed that the unique environment and the passage of time had shaped me differently. He stared back at me, a silent question in his eyes. I just stood there for a moment, and then someone asked, "How?" The plan had been to ensure my safe return to Brack and to support me until my position there was secure. But Durga Brack had complicated everything by openly disrespecting the Heavenly Warriors. Durga Brack had tried to kill Winshin under the guise of an alliance, and the Heavenly Warriors would have taken his head for it. I listened, my expression unreadable. However, the palace's investigation team would prevent that, as Durga's actions had already been ruled as treason.
I told them I would help achieve that goal. To be more precise, I intended to be thorough.
Chief Kakantir, still bloody, nodded and agreed. Let's do it.
I looked at his bloodied fist, my own clean. A small smile touched my lips.
Our fists met in a silent agreement. Demosha.
The border count's illegitimate son was once an emperor.
I found Barik shouting a greeting. Barik, I heard you woke up. Are you feeling all right? He was hunched over, Chell holding his head as he vomited a stream of rainbow-colored liquid onto the floor, which made me say, "Yeah, I can see that." Barik was up, glaring at Chell. "Did you mix alcohol into my medicine, you bastard?"
I watched him from where I stood, thinking, it's definitely strange. Mage swordsmen are known for their combat and healing abilities, but Barik's recovery was happening at an unbelievable pace. I thought back to the two warriors I'd known who had similar abilities, though they were long dead now. My mind worked through the implications of Barik's rapid healing.
Barik, still looking worse for wear despite his recovery, asked me, "When are we going back to Brack?"
I wrung out a cloth and placed it on his forehead, which made him wince.
"Soon," I told him. "Possibly tomorrow, but not if you're still like this." Barik looked up at me with wide eyes, insisting, "I'll be able to walk by tomorrow." "You'll have to fight Lord Malin's soldiers, the investigation team, and the capital's army," I reminded him. "And you can't do that in this state. You need to focus on getting better until things at Brack are resolved." He accused me of abandoning him, shouting, "You're just going to use me and throw me out, you traitor. You poo-fed. You can't even squeeze out the cloth well enough. You twig." I felt a tug on my sleeve as he grabbed it, saying, "How can a teacher abandon his student? We promised." I just sighed. Goodness. Is this any way for a student to treat his teacher? I just looked at Barik, challenging him. "Did you forget? You used mana on your own back then."
He lay there, still glaring, but the fire in his eyes dimmed a little as he processed my words. I leaned closer, my expression serious, and he seemed to finally understand what I was trying to remind him of. Just then, someone knocked at the door, pulling my attention away. It was Chell, standing outside with a messenger hawk perched on his arm, and he announced, "There's a letter from Brack." He gently stroked the hawk's head, a quiet moment of connection before turning his full attention to the news. As Chell explained the contents, I realized the investigation team was likely just waiting for reinforcements, but the true problem was the citizens within the territory.
I explained, that's because the bank is inviolable territory. It's called the Hayman Bank, and they manage the financial infrastructure of Barrial, with at least one in each region. I continued, if there's harm done to the bank during an uprising or other internal conflict, they will decline to associate with anyone related, which means the investigation team and Durga won't touch them there.
Chell listened intently, absorbing the implications of this crucial detail. I met his gaze, my decision firm.
I told him plainly, we'll leave for Barrial tomorrow.
The next morning, the sun was already high, casting long shadows over the city walls. The journey ahead would be long, but the path was clear. That was the chapter. Subscribe for the next part of his rise.